I had this idea, I had this idea. I also had this idea. Great. But did you execute it or not? Ideas in Web3 and generally in life are dime a dozen. Everyone has ideas. We get a lot of founders who pitch to us saying, hey, I have a great idea. Uh, Everyone has great ideas. If I were to be very blunt and clear, as an investor or as a founder's friend, essentially what I'm looking at is 100% bias towards execution, 0 points for ideas. Ideas are great. It's an industry that's very nascent. There are tons of areas to be explored. There are tons of holes to be filled in the industry, right at infrastructure level, right at application level. But that idea is not going to get you too far. Everything, absolutely everything, and I cannot emphasize enough on this, is only dependent on execution. Essentially, I've seen a ton of founders come back and say, hey, I had this idea, I had this idea. I also had this idea. Great. But did you execute it or not? Ideas in Web3 and generally in life are dime a dozen. Everyone has ideas. Who is believing in that idea? Your belief matters a lot. Your belief has to be strong enough for you to quit your job, your freelance work, other opportunities that you get, and work full time for a particular project. Do you have that kind of belief? That belief usually translates into execution. And then you have all the help that you can get from the ecosystem. But first and foremost is execution. When we say execution, essentially, it means whether I believe in an idea enough to take the plunge, to go through the rough phases, to slog out when it gets very lonely, and to look at challenges that are just mind-bogglingly big and actually sit and solve them for months at end, if not years. If that belief exists, then a founder just goes ahead and executes at a ruthless pace. And that's what we are looking at in the founders. That's what most investors are looking at in the founders. Can you execute? Do you have the motivation and the capabilities to execute? This is a deadly combo. This is a deadly combo. If you have that belief, you will definitely make your project a success. And when it comes to execution, there are a ton of things to be learned. How to validate your idea, how to go ahead and experiment and build your community, when to start your go-to-market, who is your target audience, how do you raise funds. There are tons of questions. So if you have any such questions that are very specific about execution, would love to hear them in the comments. And we are going to make a lot more videos based on what you want to learn about. Also, I would love it if you can share this video with your friends and on Twitter, and do subscribe to the channel. We get immense motivation when someone subscribes and gives us feedback about what we are building. We know we are not shooting in the dark, correct?